Hello and welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast, where we explore the art of intentional living. Whether you're juggling life as a working parent, leading in your profession, or simply seeking more meaning in your everyday, this space is for you. I'm your host, Kendra Chapman, and today we're diving into 3 ways to create balance and calm amidst the chaos. If you've ever felt like life is moving way too fast and you just need to catch your breath, you are in the right place. We're going to talk about cultivating Hygge, that Danish concept of coziness and contentment that I've made my word of the year for 2025, and how to weave it into your daily routine. If you're new to Hygge, don't worry, I'll break it down for you. And we'll also explore a highlight hack for either work, life, or both that helps bring more balance, organization, and efficiency to your days. And at the end of it all, I'll share how you can connect with me, Kendra Chapman, and tell me more about how you are finding more Hygge in your life. So, if you're ready to slow down and embrace the beauty of an intentional lifestyle, grab a cozy drink, join me on the couch, sit back, get comfortable, and let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is my section, the beginning part of my podcast, where I talk about what's bringing me Hygge. And so right now, I'm loving the glimmers of spring. It's not quite spring yet. And as much as I love winter, when I can bunker down with comfy blankets and some tea, there's something about those early signs of spring that just make my heart happy. And so I've been watching, I've been seeing some birds returning. I've been seeing robins coming back. That just makes me feel like spring is on its way. And I haven't seen redbuds yet here in Middle Tennessee, but I'm hoping to see those soon. So there's that subtle shift in the air. We're getting ready to have more rain here in Middle Tennessee, so who knows what's next, but there's that little extra light in the evenings, which I'm appreciating, and that sense of renewal that I look forward to every year. So Hygge isn't just about warmth and coziness in the winter. It's also about embracing those seasonal shifts and finding that joy in the little transitions of life. So for me, spring foraging is one of those ways that I bring that feeling inside, into my house. So that leads us into our main topic for today, how to bring the outside in. So Hygge for me this week is definitely just looking for spring and seeing it in little moments here and there. So when I get to see a red bud, I'm going to be super excited, but I'm definitely seeing daffodils. Do you guys ever see daffodils popping up and you think, okay, it's going to be spring soon, but I really hope that the daffodils don't die before the next big temperature drop? But I've also learned something here in Middle Tennessee. They call anything that's a yellow flower a buttercup. I learned that a few years ago when people would say, yeah, the buttercups are coming up. And I was like, I've seen daffodils. I don't see buttercups. And they're like, oh yeah, we call everything that's a yellow flower a buttercup. So that was something new for me. I'm thinking, well, my father's a botanist, so he's going to be looking for the exact term, not Latin, but close enough. I'm seeing daffodils popping up. So, or as they say in Middle Tennessee, the buttercups are coming up, which is very exciting. I actually brought in a few the other day before we had the last snow because they were coming up and I just couldn't bear to see them all being killed off. But they seem to have survived. They survived the snow. There's lots more coming up. So I'm looking forward to seeing more daffodils or buttercups as they come up through the earth. So segment 2, I'm going to move on to segment 2, which is foraging for your home. And so this just brings to mind just that ancient practice of going outside in whatever part of the world people were in and bringing the outdoors in, whether it's for food or for medicine or for decoration or for crafting. there was always a purpose to using nature in the centuries of the past, of just really using the land and to live off the land, to gather and utilize what nature is bringing us every day. And so now it's not like I'm going out to find certain things in nature to feed my family necessarily, unless I have my garden up. But that's just more, it's not for survival. It's just more for adding to my salads and adding to my dressings and, just making my food more interesting. It's not something, I mean, I'm also going to the grocery store. So it's really just a supplement, my garden is. But I also like to bring in other pieces into the home for decoration and for purpose. And so I have the video going right now for anybody who's on YouTube, but we found these, I'm showing antlers, deer antlers, and it's a 7-pointer. So there were 4 on one side and a 3-pointer on the other. And we believe this was most likely the same deer who shed their antlers pretty close together. We found them, you can hear them kind of clacking together. Very impressive set of antlers we found under a tree over the weekend when we went out as a family walking on the property. So we went for a hike. We went out walking yesterday and we found these two. My husband found them right under a tree that I also get horse apples from in the late summer, early spring, like spring into summer. Yeah, usually late summer. I like to get horse apples. If you don't know what those are, they look like green brains. They call them horse apples, and then there's a couple of other terms that they call them. But the fruit that comes from those trees are really beautiful. They're a bright, bright green, and they use them to deter insects. And I've looked them up online. If you check on horse apples, I can check the other term for what they're called. But they're just beautiful. I love the green color. It's like a Granny Smith green apple color, and they are just amazing. And when I researched them more, because I have several trees on my property, it turns out that people in this area, Osage orange, there we go. So for the more correct term, is the Osage orange tree, and the apple that falls from it is also called an Osage orange. And the tree's bark, the wood from an Osage orange is used for a lot of fencing in this area and has been for a long time. So if you come across a homestead or you purchase a property or you live on a property that's been owned for a long time and has been somebody's home for a long time, like a century farm or multiple centuries farm, then you'll see, most likely you might find a couple of fencing or fence posts made out of Osage orange. They're very strong, and their wood is used a lot in fencing. And the fruit, I like to use it as decoration, but I also love the fact that they deter spiders and other insects from the house. Now, I have not figured out how to preserve an Osage orange. I would love to know if someone out there knows how to do this. I've looked it up online. I've tried to do it for multiple years. I read one article where you could hang the Osage orange from a yardstick or from a stick in your home and let it dry out, because it gets like a milky substance, and then that kind of seeps out of the fruit, um, or the rind, and then it starts to deteriorate and it turns black, and then you get bugs. And I just haven't been able to like preserve it. And so I don't know if I need to, like a dried flower, if I need to put it in some sort of chemical to dry it out. I don't know, because I want to keep that green color, that Granny Smith green apple color that's so pretty, and then just dry it out and preserve it so I could use it over and over again. A couple of other things that I've done over the year, I've took some oranges and sliced them into really thin slices somewhat. Some are thinner than others. And my plan was to string yarn through them and use them as decorations on the Christmas tree. And I dried them out in the range. And they're really, really, if you can hear this, they're really, really hard. And now I can use them as potpourri. So I really like these oranges that I've dried out. And I'm going to use them again. Not only are they beautiful, but they smell really good too. They've kept their smell. And I mean, it's March now, March of 2025, and I dried these like 3 months ago, and they're holding up pretty well. So I'm hoping that I can use these in potpourri in future months, years to come. And then we have lots of turkey on the property, and so I'm holding up a turkey feather. We find these all the time on our property, and I just love them. I think they're beautiful. Turkeys are a beautiful bird, and they have so many colors in their feathers. If you ever get to look at one up close, my husband hunts, and we use the meat, deer and turkey meat, to feed our family. And then if we come across any additional animals that he hunts and doesn't need to use the meat, then we definitely donate to the Hunters for the Hungry. So we definitely make sure the meat is used, and I use the feathers. I just think they're beautiful. I use them if I want to sage a room. I'll burn some sage, and I use the turkey feather to help me move the smoke around the room and sage the space. So definitely I love to collect deer antlers. I think they're just beautiful. They're so smooth. So I love it when Mother Nature gives us plenty of artifacts to forage. And I'm not doing it for food or medicine. I'm doing it more for decoration or for decorative use in the home. At some point, I would love to be able to make something out of deer antlers if I can. I'm not that crafty to make like a big light fixture necessarily, but we'll see. Maybe one day I can try to. I think we almost have enough antlers to do that, so we'll see if I can do something. Maybe a small lamp for a bedside table, perhaps. But yeah, definitely fruit and feathers and deer antlers would be what I use most of the time for decoration, depending on this time of the year. And then, if I can decorate for the winter, for Christmas and Halloween, I love to use the greenery around the farm. I have a lot of trees that I can definitely use for that, and I can go get clippings and use them for the mantle. And I like to use that around the door too. And so I definitely like to use the greenery on the land from the trees on our land. Most recently, there is this hill on our property that has a lot of tall wild grass growing that is just this beautiful golden color. So I decided to go and cut that in bunches and tie it together. And I've made this almost like a floral arrangement out of grass for my kitchen. So I have these two big glass containers that are the same size, and I have them. I always like twos or threes of things, and so I have two glass containers that you could use for candles, and I've just added this brown, like golden colored dried grass that's grown really tall. So I cut it to a certain size, and I've made it symmetrical, and I have that up in my kitchen right now for decoration. I think it's such a pretty way to bring the outside in. Um, so that's the type of foraging I do to decorate my home. But there are definitely lots of podcasts out there and articles online if you want to search for ways to utilize whatever's on your property or in your backyard. You could look for fallen branches, greenery, like I said. You could look for seed pods like pine cones if you have a pine tree or multiple pine trees, or different sprigs of greenery. There's lots of ways that you can just put greenery and pine cones in a vase and it'll look beautiful. Or if you have a bread bowl, or any kind of decorative plate or platter, you can put some things from outside, depending on the season, on a plate in the middle of your table. And that's a beautiful tablescape for the next, family gathering that you have or any kind of entertaining that you do. So bare branches are a great way to sculpt a natural touch in your space. And so I've done that with the grass from my yard just recently, and I'll include some pictures of that um, right here for you guys to see an example in my video if you want to check it out on YouTube. Seasonal florals and wildflowers, like I said, horse apples from the Osage orange is a beautiful way to bring the outside in. I like to do that in the fall. I usually do that around Halloween time. And I just want to figure out how to preserve them. So definitely reach out to me if you've figured out a way to preserve them and keep their color so they're not decomposing. Um, but they usually last for like a week or two in the house if you want to just have them in a bowl and use them for decorative um, color. Then, red buds, when the spring starts to um, come and you see more red buds, daffodils, all those clippings from different seasonal florals will make a beautiful centerpiece. um, as well as stones. My boys love to bring me rocks. And I have all kinds of rocks from around our farm, and they are beautiful. Lots of blues and like peachy pink colors are in some of our stones in Tennessee, in Middle Tennessee. And I love it when they find a rock that looks kind of like it's different. Sometimes they'll find a rock that might have some interesting colors and properties. And so I definitely enjoy them bringing me a handful of rocks. But then we kind of go through them and make sure that we're not seeing a lot of repeated colors and styles, because I'll just want like one really neat looking rock, but you can throw the rest of them outside. Or go make me something outside in your fort. They have lots of forts around the property. Um, but acorns are neat, and they turn certain colors too, because the boys were collecting acorns for me from one of the oak trees in the fall, and they were bright, bright green, and then they turned this yellow and then brown color. It was really neat to watch the colors change. So if you bring a bowl of pine cones or acorns or any kind of driftwood, depending on where you live. If you live at the beach, it's just neat to see the changing of the colors, with leaves. If your kids bring leaves into the house, or if you go out for a walk in nature, it's just interesting to see how those elements might change color over time. So foraging connects us to nature. It slows us down. It reminds us to appreciate the beauty of simple things. And it's all about creating an environment that feels intentional and peaceful and deeply personal. And so I really like to think about ways to bring the outside in. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you bring the outside in. Are there certain things that you like to forage in your part of the world that is unique to you and where you live? Like horse apples in Middle Tennessee are unique to this part of the world. Is there anything that you bring into your part of the world that's unique? Like beach combers. I know that going out and looking for seashells, that's definitely something I can't do in Middle Tennessee, but I love to do when I'm at the beach. So tell me more about how you bring the outside in. And I'd love to connect with you and find out more about what's bringing you Hygge right now as well. So let's keep the conversation going. Email me at coachingwithkendrachapman@gmail.com, or you can check out my website at coachingwithkendrachapman.com, or send me a direct message, a DM on Instagram at coachingwithkendrachapman. Tag me in your refresh journey. I'd love to see how you're bringing the outside into your home. And let's embrace this new season together with intention and confidence. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I hope that you share it with a friend or two who might need a little encouragement on how to slow down and soak in the beauty of everyday life. And just to be reminded that if you need a recharge, or you need to relax, or if you need to connect, going outside and grounding yourself in nature is a great way to do that. So, as always, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. and that you continue coming back to stay connected. And remember to take it slow, be intentional, and again, embrace the season you're in, because the peace in me honors the peace in you. And as you head into the next week, let your light shine through. Until next time, take care and keep leading with purpose. And remember, go slow to go fast. Thanks for listening.